Let's jump into some stories that you got for us about some failure in your own experience.
Well, I don't like to admit to anything bad, but I would say my biggest failure was the version one of a app I created called Code Snippet.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're aware of that. It's
I mean, I checked it out, the site that's currently, so not aware of, I guess, version one.
it's basically a social media app for developers where you can come in and follow your favorite developers and post, little snippets of code and share them with other people. It's kind of like Snippler, but it has more of a social aspect to it.
Uh-huh.
So that one we started last spring in 2010 now. And we got it up pretty quickly in about a month or two. And I was so excited about the project, I assumed that people would just flock to the site and use it immediately.
Okay.
We had a lot of interest in the beta sign up phase, but once we launched, it just didn't go very well. We had maybe one user a day posting, and sometimes even less than that. So I finally had to sit down and decide, do I continue working on the site or do I just delete the project altogether, because it definitely was not worth the programming time on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what was what would you consider the cost of that? Well, actually, before we go there, so you ended up, obviously, it's still up.
Yes,
So you didn't decide to quit.
I didn't. I sent out a couple tweets because we did have a small core set of users, and all of them pretty much begged me not to take the site down. So I realized that what the site really needed was a revamp of the UE, because the design was nice, but the site features had outgrown the design and it wasn't the most intuitive. And so I thought, well, perhaps if we redo the front end and the back end as well, that it would be a bit more successful.
And it worked?
Well, it's not a huge site, but it has gotten a lot of users. We have several users a day now posting and around 500 visitors a day, which beat the 20 visitors we had on version one.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
it's
great.
getting there. It's getting there. And version two is still pretty much in a beta because we still have features that aren't even up yet. So
Nice. So initially, when that version one was kind of flopping, I mean, what were you considering the cost at that point? You talk about it like you feel like, it was definitely at the crossroads of failure. You could have just stopped and then called it a failure at that point, but you didn't do that. So even going back to your previous definition of failure, it's not even a failure because you didn't give up. So you kept going, and now it's growing and running. So, but that aside, I mean, what were you considering as kind of the cost of the project at that point? What did it not taking off immediately? What did that cost you?
um, well, the only thing it really cost is time, but
Hmm.
people do say time is money. So
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I got the hosting for free. I only had to pay for the domain. I was able to trade my time for design. So I did have some time I had to spend away from paid work
Yeah.
to trade for that. And my husband is a back-end programmer. So he was taking care of it. But by the time we realized it wasn't working out, he's like, I don't want to do this project anymore. I have no interest in it and it's too much time. So
Yeah.
he quit on me.
Yeah.
So I ended up realizing I was going to have to find another developer and a designer to help me on this project.
And you
So
did, and that worked out. And
yes,
that
I
kind
was
of
lucky enough to find two of some of the biggest users of Code Snippet to help me out.